I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, January the 29th, after a Bonanza Friday. Just a great market. Your board bounced back with resistance to that sharply lower Thursday that tried to kill things, and your fats were sharply higher. Blew by some ear notch thresholds there that really kind of hold the market up sometimes, and just everything coming up roses for the cattle market. And going right in here to your NCBA convention and trade show, that's everybody's going to be on a positive mood there. If you are going to be out there, come by the trade show at the Merck Animal Health booth, which is number 529. Stop by there and visit with me. We'll have the National Beef Wire on display, and we can visit about that and whatever else you want to talk about. But let's look at the board the way it ended up last week. Your April live cattle ended the week at 124.62, up $1.90 for the week. February spot live cattle ended the week at 124.60, and with that sharply higher fat cattle trade, lended a pretty good basis there for the guys that sold out. March feeder cattle ended the week at 146.72, up $1.12 for the week. January went off the board at 147.06. And your fat cattle trade, like I said, live sales 127. It blew right by that 125 that everybody had their eye on. It was up $4 compared to last week or the previous week. Your dress trade at $2 even, which is another threshold there that's kind of hard to obtain and let alone get by, but up $5 compared to the previous week, and just a really better deal than what everybody thought we were going to get whenever we hadn't sold anything, and Thursday was sharply lower on the board, but Friday came back and erased all that pressure. Box beef cutout values, the average trade for the week last week had choice cuts at $206.70, up 81 cents, and selects at $200.74, up 23 cents. Your slaughter was a little bit down, but didn't bother anything. But it was off the mark quite a bit because of the blizzards they had the beginning of last week. It shut things down and some plants up in the northern plains. But 588,000 for the week last week, which was down 27,000 from the previous week and down 7,000 from the same week a year ago. Cattle on feed report come out on Friday. And the analysts didn't do too bad. I tell you what, they notched the inventories and they notched the marketings. Of course, they missed the placements on the short side like usual, but not nearly as far as usual. And I think, you know, we could sure call that thing a little bit bearish, but I don't think it's enough to bother anything, especially as strong as everything was on Friday. And none of your fat cattle sold until after that report come out on Friday, so everybody knew what was going on, so we have no surprises here to start this week. But January 1st inventories on feed 108.3. We knew it was going to be pretty large. Placements, they had those pegged at about 97%, and they come in just over 100 at and it's going to be 101 on the average, but it's actually 100.7. I thought it would be hard to get them under 100. You know, we had that big calf crop at the beginning of last year, and I think some of the numbers that they weren't accounting for was cattle off wheat that they retained ownership on did not go through a feedlot or through a sale barn or anywhere, because guys, you know, just got those cattle straightened up. They had that rank wheat when they started out, got some good early gains, and then it just no moisture at all in the southern plains, and just completely took that away from them. And I think a lot of those guys wanted to keep a hold of those cattle and find a place for them to go on feed. Marketings in December come out just as they expected at 98.6%. Your cash feeders for last week through the sale barns were mostly steady. You know, 2 weeks before they had that big wreck as everything went down middle of that week. And then the next week they come back strong. But last week, by the time we got through the middle of the week where all that volatility was, it was pretty much steady with 2 weeks prior to that. So back to mostly steady. And your calf market was better, with guys really pushing for winter purchases of grass cattle to get those cattle warmed up and ready to turn out early in the spring. and they were $3 to $5 higher. Your real-time index on Beef Market Central ended the week at 146.63, down $1.20 for the week. You look at some individual quotes. Had a big sale with some fancy prices in Burwell, Nebraska. They had a half a load of red steers there you see on this individual quote on Cattle Market Central. They weighed 528 pounds at $205.50. They also had a set off the Twin Pine Ranch there, weighed 805 pounds at $161. That's your feeder flash for Monday.